Good morning. Welcome to the July 23rd session of the Scioto County Commissioners and our meeting. And today there's only two of us. Commissioner Powell is gone, and so we will take care of the meeting from this point. We're going to start the meeting as we normally do with the pledge. I'm going to ask Commissioner Malt to lead us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you would bow your heads, we'll go to the Lord in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, as we come to you, we thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to come in and do the business of the county. We ask that you would guide us and we would make the right decisions, do the things that is in the best interest and is helpful to the people in our area. Thank you, Lord, for this opportunity. Thank you for those that have showed up at the meeting today. We ask that you watch over us, guide us, keep us. We ask these things in your precious name. Amen. Thank you. And we will start the meeting by approving the minutes of the July 16th meeting.
I make the motion to approve.
I will vacate the chair and second the motion.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
In the matter of request for appropriation of funds,
Any question on the request for appropriation of funds?
I make the motion to approve.
I will vacate the chair and second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
In the matter of request for appropriation, transfer of funds,
Any questions or comments on the request for transfer?
I make the motion to approve.
I will vacate the chair in second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
In the matter of approving payment of the regular schedule of accounts for the various funds, moral obligations, and then and now certificates in the total amount of $694,857.79.
This is the normal picking up the things that, just the odds and ends that didn't get paid along the way. We pick those up and try to take care of those. And it's a number of $694,857.79. Any questions or comments on that?
No, I make the motion to approve.
I'll vacate the chair in second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
In the matter of accepting miscellaneous reports,
We have our miscellaneous reports. Anyone have any questions? I guess anyone will. Do you have any questions?
I will make the motion to accept.
I will vacate the chair in second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
In the matter of resolution allowing ARC of Appalachia to apply for Clean Ohio grant regarding Rush and Washington Township.
This is a request from the Arc of Appalachia about some property out by the Simon property out in Rush. Actually, it falls into Rush and Washington Township. And they want to buy that property, tie them into the Simon farm, and hopefully eventually go to the mounds out there and tie into them. They're hoping to make all that happen, but first they had to go to Rush Township and Washington Township and get a resolution from them, because basically this would be a nonprofit buying this property, so then that property would become tax exempt. And so they had to go to those trustees, and the trustees from both townships have approved that and given them a resolution. And so they're asking now for a resolution from us saying that we would support them purchasing that property. So that's basically what we have in that. Any questions?
No, you did an excellent job explaining that, and I make the motion to adopt.
I will second. I'll vacate the chair in second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
In the matter of approving policy for deposit of public monies for Scioto County regarding the Scioto County Treasurer.
This is a request from the treasurer to be able to use. He has changed the investment strategies of the county, and at this point it has brought in far more interest money than what had been brought in over the past few years. And basically we have a meeting, a budget or a investment committee meeting. We had that last week, and he asked that we approve his investment strategies to try to continue to bring in interest money to the county And so that's what he's asking us to approve, that investment strategy, so that we can move ahead with that. Any questions?
No questions. With that, I'll make the motion to approve.
I will vacate the chair in second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
In the matter of request for fund transfer,
Any questions on the fund transfers?
I'll make the motion to approve.
I will vacate the chair in second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
In the matter of resolution vacating a portion of Amerd Street and alley along lots 190, 191, 192 in Avalon subdivision.
This piece of property, this alley that we're talking about, is in Wheelersburg area. If you're familiar with the Prather dental practice up there, it's actually kind of behind and to the, if you're looking at the front of the right of that facility, there's an alley that went through there, and actually part of it did not even continue to go through. It was just planned to go through there for a subdivision, and the person that owns the property was requesting that be vacated. They own one side of the property. There's an apartment complex, I think, on the other side of the property. We went up, did a viewing, went through everything that we needed to go through, and it's just taken to this point to get everything squared away to where that it could be officially vacated. So this is a request to do a resolution to vacate that property. Any other questions on that?
Dr. Prather is no longer in Wheelersburg. I believe he was one of my doctors, and I believe he's moved on to Cincinnati. But I'll make the motion to adopt.
I'll vacate the chair in second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
In the matter of notification from the Ohio Department of Taxation regarding the permissive sales tax.
Permissive sale, no, I'll get it out here in a minute. Permissive sales tax for May of this year is, it's an increase of $99,302.48, which is, anytime we get an increase, get more money, we're happy with that. So we're doing better than what we were doing last year at this time. So the question is, do we want to accept that or just give that away, Will?
I'll make the motion to accept.
I will vacate the chair in second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
In the matter of accepting resignation for the Scioto County Dog Warden regarding the dog pound.
We have another resignation from the dog pound as dog warden. We've, this seems to be happening quite a bit out there, but I think it's because that the dog pound is kind of in a transition period right now. We're doing a lot of things to try to work out things. I think last week's meeting, Bill asked a question about the sheriff, and we said maybe the sheriff's department would possibly take over the dog pound. We have talked to the sheriff. The sheriff is investigating what that would entail for him to do that. Doesn't mean that we're going to do it. We're just trying to look at options, because what we're running into, and this resignation basically is the person that's resigning wants to try to better themselves. They're going to go back to school and will not be able to work the schedule. And quite honestly, they said that they need a little more money than what we're paying out there. And we talked about that last week, I believe, is the amount of money that we pay. Unfortunately, the county is in a situation where we can't raise any salaries. We'd love to do that for everybody here, but we can't do it right now. So it's questionable, what are we going to get when we put it out there for the job? Are we going to get good applicants, or we really don't know with the price the way it is and the flux that's been going on there at the dog pound. I think we're headed in the right direction with it, but it's just going to take some time to get there, and we may have to work through some things to get there. Actually, we yesterday appointed the director as a dog warden, so that we would have a dog warden while that we're working through this thing. So we do have a dog warden. It's not that we are completely out of dog wardens out there, although we've been losing a lot lately. But we made that appointment yesterday so that we could have someone that could be contacted when we have the problems that we may have. And we're looking into the sheriff's department deal. We're looking into nonprofits possibly funding a lot of the things out there. So we're looking into a lot of things to try to keep the dog pound going. It is, and I said this, I think in one of our meetings that, you know, since I've been here, that's probably one of the biggest problems that we've had is we're dealing with problems with the dog pound. And the reason for that is because people love their animals. And, you know, they want to see them well taken care of, regardless of the situations that they are in. And we're trying to do the best we can to do that and try to work through this. And hopefully by the end of the time that we get the plans that we have together working, we'll be in better shape than what we are and have been over the last couple of years. So having said that, any questions on the resignation of the dog warden?
No, I'll make the motion to accept.
I'll vacate the chair in a second.
Mr. Mall?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
In the matter of notice of award for New Boston Village Community Center and Safety Building Concrete Replacement Project regarding CDBG.
Okay, this is another CBG grant up in New Boston, and this is just a notice of awards to award the concrete work up there, $78,000. Is that correct? I think.
Yes, 78,000.
$78,000 for this concrete work, and so we're just awarding the bids that were already taken on that for the concrete work up at New Boston. Any questions?
Now I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll vacate the chair in a second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
In the matter of special payment from the Dog and Kennel to Shawnee Animal Clinic.
Okay, this one is, once again, a thing that dealing with the dog pound. We kind of, I'll briefly try to explain this. There was a grant that was received for spade and neutering of pets, and that grant was not the county's grant. It actually was through Sierra Haven. It was placed at Sierra Haven, the grant was. And it was to pay for spade and neutering of dogs at the Shawnee Animal Clinic. And what happened was the grant ran out, but the animal clinic was not notified that the grant ran out. And so they spayed and neutered a number of dogs after the grant ran out, so there wasn't money to pay it. And they came in and questioned about, you know, okay, where are we going to get our money for what's already been done? And under normal circumstances, we would say the person adopting the dog pays for the spade and the neutering of the dog. It's not really the county that pays for it, but in the situation, the way it happened, there was no way of tracking down and going after the people that had got the dogs. And so what we discussed was that the clinic over the years has done a lot of work at a discount rate, taking care of things for the county and the spade and neutering things. So we felt like making them whole in this situation was in the best interest of us, best interest of them, best interest of people in the county. So we agreed to pay this $1,394 some odd cents to them to make them whole and get this thing all straightened out, because they were concerned how they were going to get their money since the grant was gone. And so we agreed to that last week in a meeting, and so this is just a special payment to try to get that through, to get it taken care of, so that they can continue to take care of the pets that are out there. So any questions?
No questions, and I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll vacate the chair in a second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Also in the matter of special payment from the Dog and Kennel to Shawnee Animal Clinic.
Okay, this one is a little bit different. We had a bill that was due to them that had to do with some medication that we get from them, and it was just one that I don't think anyone knew was due. And when we started talking all this stuff, we found out there was another bill due, so let's get it paid too while we're doing everything. But we couldn't add it to the other because it was a different level of service. So we have to run this through as a different payment to them, and this is just a bill that we owed that just had not been paid because we didn't realize we owed it, and we'd not been invoiced for it. So we found out, so let's get that taken care of. Any questions?
No questions, and I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll vacate the chair in a second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
In the matter of memorandum of understanding and agreement between the Scioto County Board of Commissioners and the Ohio State University Fisheries Research Team.
Okay, this is a little different. We had a research team from the Ohio State contact us. They're doing research on the fishery in the Scioto River. And they are moving up and down the river, different spots, doing their research on it. And we have a kayak launching spot out across from the Briar Patch out on 104. And they requested to be able to camp on various nights at that site. And that is not a designated camping area, but they requested that because they wanted to stay right on the river and be able to do the research and all that. And so we checked with the prosecutor. The prosecutor said probably wouldn't be any problem with that as long as we had a memorandum of understanding with them, basically drawing out that they understand this is not a regular campsite, but we're giving them permission to camp there on the times when they're doing their research. And so the prosecutor put that memorandum of understanding together. We have that today to approve so that they can continue to do their research on the fisheries there in the Scioto River. So any questions?
No, and I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll vacate the chair in a second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
In the matter of contract agreement between the Scioto County Sheriff and Security Automated Systems regarding the retrofit jail project.
Okay, you may recall we've run this through a couple times. We ran it through the first time and we got bids, and there was a complaint on how the bids were done through the one company said they didn't get all the information from the sheriff's department, and so we said, okay, we'll bid it again. We bid it again, only had one company bid on it, the same company that got it the first time. So it was just a situation seemed like we ran that through for really no good reason, but you know, we were requested to do that, and to make sure we didn't get in any trouble with it, we went ahead and ran that through again. Well, that was the amount that came in the bid, and so today we are agreeing to that contract with the Sheriff's Department for that bid on the safety issues or the safety systems out to the jail. Any questions?
No, I make the motion to approve.
I'll vacate the chair in a second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
In the matter of accepting resignation regarding the Scioto County Commissioner.
Okay, this is that's been in the news all week. Commissioner Davis resigned at his hearing where he agreed to change his plea. He did his resignation from his seat on the commission, and apparently he was advised by his attorney that he should probably send a notice to us of that resignation. And we received that just right before this meeting. We received that resignation. I checked with the prosecutor to make sure it's something that we should do, that it wasn't just handled by the court. And the prosecutor said, yeah, it's probably a good idea to have on record that it was received here. So we received that and have been asked to accept that resignation. We also, at the period that the resignation took place, his payment, his salary for here ceased, and there was a final payment issue for his final pay that was through here. That was done, I think, yesterday. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And so that has been done, and that should clear up put the end to that. And I guess, Will, that makes you officially the appointed commissioner. So you have any questions about this resignation?
No, with that, I make the motion to accept.
I will vacate the chair in a second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye. That ends our agenda. We've got 10 minutes before our bid opening. We've got a couple bid openings we need to do, so we'll take any questions on agenda or off agenda. Bill, usually you're first.
appreciate that. Thank you. Congratulations, Commissioner Moult, being bona fide. So, all right, questions on the agenda. Obviously, item number 17 with the resignation of Commissioner Davis. You talked about his salary while under suspension ending. Who is responsible for collecting that repayment? Because according to the Ohio Revised Code, he's got to repay that. Is that a county issue or is that from the state?
I talked to the prosecutor today because I anticipated your question on that. And I talked to him today and asked a couple of questions. One was, as you know, the revised code says he has to pay it back.
Right.
It's just going after it. Who's going to go after it and how will that work? Talking to our prosecutor just moments ago, he said that he would request to the special prosecutor that they would try to get an order in the sentencing to deal with that. That way we have an order that we can fall back on, that's been done. But ultimately it will fall on the county to try to collect that money. And we will have to, I'm assuming this is not, I didn't get this officially from the prosecutor. I'm assuming we will have to give him a reasonable amount of time to make payments or make arrangements to do however that's to be paid back. And then if that doesn't happen, then it will be on the county to file suit against Mr. Davis to make sure that we recoup that money.
And I know this is kind of on the fly. Do you have an idea of the total amount that was collected by former Commissioner Davis during his suspension?
I don't know. It would be right at a year's salary because he was indicted last year in August.
Yep.
And so what I'd say it would be right at a year's salary, right at probably $70,000, probably somewhere in that
I know
range.
he took a couple months, or weeks anyway, where he didn't attend meetings before submitting that to the Supreme Court.
Right, right. So
And
it's
just asking for clarification purposes.
Yeah.
That way it cuts down on gossip
Yeah.
and everything else. I'm sure you're aware. Also, in relation to that, are either commissioners aware of or know of any push to vindicate Mark Ward? I had a story on it on air the other day, and of course, for those that don't know, Mark was labeled as the whistleblower that confronted both Robert Horton and former Commissioner Davis, and there were criminal charges pressed against Mark Ward regarding some of his alleged actions. But I researched some things that came out of district court, and it showed that here locally, Judge Russ Kegley adjudicated Mark Ward not to be guilty of that. These charges were dismissed. Also, federal judges Jeffrey Hopkins in a civil case and federal judge Karen Lukovich in a civil case at the federal level also ruled in favor of Mark Ward. So some of the things that were alleged against him were factually proven not to be accurate. Is there any movement from the commissioners or legal representative of the commissioners to clear his name in that matter?
Bill, obviously that happened before I was here, and I've been asked that question, and this is me, not the other commissioners. This is just from my perspective. Most of the evidence in that case was sealed, so I can't look back and say, okay, were there things that maybe they weren't illegal, but maybe they were unethical that happened? I don't know, without being able to look at those things and say that. So from my perspective, I don't see any movement to do anything without being able to see what that stuff is, because I'm not going to make a decision right or wrong based on something that I don't know. There were just, as I say, there was a lot of things sealed. And I've talked to Mr. Ward about this. I told him, I said, if I could see all that information, I might go one way or another. But without seeing the information, you know, I'm not going to make a judgment one way or another without that.
Well, I asked Mr. Ward yesterday about it, and he told me I needed to ask you guys about it, and he didn't want to comment any further.
Yeah.
So that's why I wasn't digging, but it just struck me that, you know, 3 respected judges like that ruled in his favor, and, you know, I know his life's really been disrupted.
Yeah.
So, Commissioner Wall, do you have a comment on that matter?
No, I don't really have a comment. I know Mark somewhat, and he is a good person. And, you know, the judicial system said what it said, so if he's in the clear, he's in the clear.
Okay. And thanks for explaining everything so well on the regular agenda. I don't have any questions off the regular agenda. You did a good job.
Well, I had to practice and study.
Who's Scotty Powell?
Scotty who?
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Bill. Anyone else have anything on agenda, off agenda? I see Katie coming to the, if she can get there, she's making her way.
Hi, good morning, Commissioners, and congratulations, Commissioner Malt. I do have a few questions. First, I do kind of want to follow up on what Mr. Show was asking about Mr. Ward. I do implore you, both of you, I have researched this myself, obviously Bill Shope has. I think the information is out there, clear, that says that I think you can form an opinion on what's out there. I really do, and I implore you to do that. I would like to ask, given that a commissioner has pled guilty to theft in office, you two are now commissioners sitting here, what is the plan moving forward to, one, not allow something like this to happen again? And 2, you know, do we need, I think the public feels we need to go back and we need to examine anything that Brian Davis and Robert Horton have touched. You know, this was one transaction, it was $68,000. Or not one transaction, I'm sorry, it was one business deal. And it was a lot of money. And I think that this is incredibly important, especially as we say that we are freezing budgets. We are losing dog wardens in a time when that is just catastrophic, what's going on at the dog pound. What's going on with animal welfare in the county is near catastrophic. So I would like to know, what is the plan moving forward to stop this? And what is the plan moving forward to look through all of the business deals?
Well, the plan moving forward to stop it, we've already put together an economic development organization, and that's what all this happened through. It happened through the economic development things, and at that point, the commissioners pretty much, and it was before I was here, but the commissioners pretty much controlled the economic development. I mean, they could bring people in, get rid of people, whatever.
Yeah.
And that led to an opportunity for corruption. That opened the door up to say, okay, here's an opportunity to be corrupt if you want to be corrupt. And obviously, you know, we've got a guilty plea, so obviously there was corruption. And so we have put together now an economic development corporation that is outside of the commissioners. We have a seat on that group, but we don't run that group. And that way, that takes all that out of the purview of the commissioners, so that we have a voice in it, but we're not sitting there where we can make a decision and say, okay, yes, we're going to use this company to build this, or we're going to use that. It's going to fall with that economic development corporation. Now, a lot of things will have to come through here probably for final for final decisions on it, because it will probably be money coming from wherever that would be flowing through the county. And when it comes through the county, we would have to make those decisions, but it would be at the recommendation of that group, not of the recommendation of a group that we're controlling. So we feel like from that was something that we needed to address immediately, and so we've addressed that over the last year to try to make sure that it's in a better situation to where those things can't happen again.
Sure.
And as far as going back into the past, that I think is more in the legal realm than it is in our realm. I think that, you know, if the state auditor, the state attorney general, or those people want to go back, yeah, maybe they can find a lot of other things that's back there.
Yeah.
But, you know, as you said a minute ago, we've got economic situations going on in the county that needs to take our focus more so than what happened in the past. What happened in the past, that now becomes a legal situation with the guilty plea and with the things that have happened. That becomes a guilty or a legal situation, and you know, there's all kinds of attorneys out there that love to take care of that stuff.
Oh, sure. So can I ask, you know, it sounds very similar to what Commissioner Coleman and Commissioner Powell were saying last February, last March, last April. Essentially, we don't have any, you know, skin in the game here. We just appoint people. The rest of economic development is out of our hands. And maybe I'm incorrect here, but it sounds kind of like you said that's the plan going forward as well.
Well, yes, in a way, because it is not out of our hands because we have a seat on that board.
Sure.
And we don't necessarily even appoint that board. The board was designed where the certain positions with certain agencies fill that seat. It's not that we appoint those people, we fill that seat.
Yeah.
And basically what we're doing has been patterned after what they do in Lawrence County, what they do in Ross County. You know, it's and they've been successful in those things, and we've patterned after those more so than trying to, you know, we didn't try to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
We just went back and said, hey, you know, here's the things that seem to be working in other places, and we're trying to put that in place without us being the controlling situation. Because when you're in control, it gives you too many opportunities to do something. And if you've got someone that's willing to step through that door and say, okay, yeah, I'm going to be corrupt here, or I'm going to do something that's illegal, the opportunity is there. The opportunity is not there as much when you've got all these other agencies that are looking, saying, you know, and we can't go back and take them off the board because they're put there by the way the statute is set up for that board's organization.
Okay. I'm going to rephrase my first question, or maybe, you know, pivot a little bit. So, sorry to continue to bring up Mark Ward. You know, the public does view him as a whistleblower. They do. And I asked a question this time last year of the commissioners. You know, once Mark Ward said, my signature was forged by the Director of Economic Development, no one on this board investigated that whatsoever. I asked them, they have said, no, we never even looked at the paperwork, the document in question. What is your plan for you as a commissioner, Mr. Malt, you, Commissioner Smith, Commissioner Malt, I apologize. In an accusation like that, I think it is easy to say, well, the prosecutor can look at it. But I'm looking for a buck stops here kind of statement. And what would you do if an employee under your purview said, my director has forged my signature? You know, will you commit to investigating situations like that versus maybe the auditor will pick it up, maybe the prosecutor will?
Well, you have to remember that as you said, you know, when you brought this up, Commissioner Davis was still here.
Yes.
And he was covering his own trail. So yeah, it's easy to say, hey, I'm not going to pick that up and follow that because it's going to lead back to me.
It was Commissioner Powell, actually, who answered me in that. So once again, I wasn't here at the time when that was answered, but he was, at that point, he was still part of the commission that was doing that. Right.
But what I would say in answer to your question is, what will we do? And if that come to us, probably the same thing that happened in somewhat in this situation is that we can't investigate anything. We're not an investigative agency. We have the prosecutor who investigates things for us, And also the state has the attorney general, the state has the auditor's office that does those investigations. And, you know, it's just like we can't make a law, we can't investigate and charge anybody. And so what the best thing we can do is turn it over to the people who are charged with that and let them investigate. Now, we can turn it over to them and just say, hey, our hands are washed and we're not doing anything. Or we can turn it over to them and keep saying, hey, where are we with this? Where are we with this? Until we find out.
Sure.
And my opinion would be that what I would want to do is turn it over to them because that's what they do, but make sure we follow up so it doesn't fall through the cracks and disappear.
Yeah, follow legal protocol.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. I want to kind of argue that I think that that's a little bit how we kind of got where we are. You know, I think that if somebody would have simply looked at a document with an obviously forged signature, I think where we would be right now would be somewhat different. My last question is, given the comments on budget and raise freezes and that, you are telling county departments and employees that painful cuts are probably necessary because revenue is insufficient. How do we reconcile that with a voluntary tax abatement for the next 15 years? If we are in fiscal emergency, if we are in a part where, you know, funding needs to be saved, how do we appease the taxpayers who feel like Google's gotten a free ride here?
Well, and yes, what you're saying is true, that they've got a 15-year tax abatement, but that tax abatement doesn't start until they have a certificate of occupancy up there.
Yes.
So, you know, we're in a mess now with and if we don't have it straightened up, we're going to be in fiscal watch or fiscal emergency before it ever gets to giving them any tax abatement.
Sure.
So, you know, the risk in that is that, okay, we risk not bringing in jobs, not bringing in the things that we're bringing in, and still end up in fiscal emergency, as opposed to let's bring those things in, and we bring them in, we still may be facing fiscal emergency, but in the long run, you know, when we get to there's going to be a lot of money that will come in as far as the pilot money and that type of thing. Yes, it's not going to be as much. We'll be a little bit short of what it should be. And I'd say a little bit, you know, when you're talking millions of dollars, you shouldn't say a little bit. But still yet, we will be short of what we would get that way. But I've said it before, the whole thing is it gives us a seat at the table to talk to them about further development and further things that may happen down the road that we wouldn't be able to talk to them about without being there. Katie, I don't want to cut you off, but we've
No,
already
I
went past
understand.
a bid opening
Yes.
that we were supposed to have.
Thank you
and
both. I
we need
appreciate
to-
your time.
yeah. We need to move ahead with the bid opening.
The first bid opening, we actually did not receive any bids.
Okay,
And that
so,
was for the water storage tank replacement with saltwater system install for the sheriff's department.
okay, so we received no bids for the bid for the water storage tank at the sheriff's department, so we need
Correct.
to make a motion to refer that back to the sheriff to rebid that and see what we can come up with. So, any questions on that?
No, I'll make that motion.
Okay, I'll vacate the chair to second it.
Okay, Mr. Malt,
All right.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
okay?
And we're
we have
another
1
minute before we do the second one. So we can stall for a minute. Mr. Ball, before we go into that bid, do you have anything closing out that you'd like to say?
Well, we've got time-honored traditions coming up. We've got the Scioto County Fair, and we've got River Days, and I'm looking forward to the festivities and hopefully everybody has a really good time. And with that, I'll pass it on to you.
You couldn't talk a little bit longer?
I can.
Just a couple of things. This Saturday at the library, they're having the summer read finale, which is read books at the library and reading. I'll have to say, over the years, I wasn't much of a reader when I was in school, but I've come to enjoy reading books. And so it's an opportunity. It is from 11 to 1 at the Portsmouth Public Library, so if you want to attend that, bring your kids in. They're going to have dinosaur books and stuff like that that you can get together and look at that. So let's remember that. And today, Will, is National Peanut Butter and Chocolate Day.
Oh my God.
You couldn't ask for a better day than Peanut Butter and Chocolate Day. But I can't believe you didn't bring me any peanut butter and chocolate in.
No one advised me on that one.
But so that's basically where we are. We've got this bid opening now that we need to do for the prepaid gas cards at JFS. So we'll turn that back over to Amanda and see what bids we've got for that.
Okay, in the matter of bid opening for prepaid gas cards regarding JFS, I received one bid, and I don't know who it's from yet because it's not on the outside. That bid is from 7-Eleven. And I don't know if I have an amount or anything. Let's see. I don't really know that there's anything that I can read because these are gas cards that they do offer, they say they do offer a discount of 3% for orders over 500 if paid by check or ACH. So I don't really know that there's anything I can read. This has kind of got all kinds of answers to their questions that they provide of how they distribute gas cards. So I believe that's something that we need to refer off to Tammy Morton.
Yeah, what I think we need a motion for is to refer this to the Department of Job and Family Services for review. And if it meets their parameters, then they can tell us whether they want to accept that bid or not, and then we can come back and deal with that. So I'll need a motion to refer this to the Department of Job and Family Services.
I make a motion, we refer it to Job and Family Services.
And I'll vacate the chair in a second.
Mr. Mull?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye. And I neglected to ask, well, I didn't really neglect, we just ran out of time, but to ask if there's any questions online. And so, looks like, yes, there's questions online, so prepare, Will.
So on the agenda, Scioto County Daily News had asked, I believe that you answered this with Bill Scioto about the process to reclaim money that was paid to Brian Davis during his leave of absence. So I believe that question was answered. Scioto County Daily News also asked, as far as you know, are there any large sum of money unaccounted for or missing in the county budget? And does the county budget shortfall have anything to do directly with the Horton/Davis case?
To answer those questions, first, as you said, I kind of answered that with Bill, is that we are working through the prosecutor and the special prosecutor to make sure that things get on the docket as far as being ordered, and then we will move on from there, what we need to do if that doesn't get paid. What was the second?
So he wants to know, are there any large sums of money unaccounted for or missing in the county budget? And do they have anything to do directly with the Horton-Davis case?
Okay, as far as I know right now, there are no large sums missing, and the auditor has done a pretty thorough investigation as they were going through. I think that the money that we're talking about was more in the way of kickbacks than money that was missing. And so, as far as I know, and I could be wrong because I wasn't here all the time, but I don't think that there's any money missing. And as far as the budget shortfalls and the things, I don't think that has anything to do with where we are right now, because that's just a matter of, we've talked about it, children placement, people overspending their budgets. So, that's basically where we are. That's got us in the situation we're in. It is not have to do with with things that happened in that case, I don't believe.
And I would concur with Commissioner Smith.
Also, Sauter County Daily News asked, has the Attorney General been made aware of the predatory price gouging of the vendors who provide housing and care for the county's foster care needs?
Yes, that's been brought up to the state. There's actually a movement by the state to try to use what they're calling a rate card to set the rates for foster care and child placement. The directors of Job and Family Services are not real crazy about the way the rate card thing is being set up, but at least it is it's a step that they're trying to make, and they are aware that the prices, I don't necessarily call it price gouging, but it's uncontrolled. They can raise the price pretty much what they want to do, and you don't have a whole lot of say in the matter, but the people in Columbus are aware of it, what they're doing with it. They're trying to work through some legislation to try to get things squared away with it.
Also, Sauter County Daily News asked, what reason, if any, did Mr. Powell give for not attending this important meeting?
He's on vacation.
Stephanie Thurman asked, did they recently do a pay raise increase for the dog warden?
No, we have not done a pay increase. We have, over the last 2 years, and one of those years prior to me being here, we have tried to keep a level budget, tried to freeze things and not give pay increases. And unfortunately, that includes the dog wardens, that we have not looked to give pay increases at this point because of the budget situation.
Sauter County Daily News also asked, has the newly appointed dog warden taken the proper training as required by ORC 955.121?
As of yet, no, but we have talked about that because we don't have anyone here that can train them, so we are going to have to get a hold of someone in another county or through the state to make sure that they get trained, and that has been discussed. We haven't got that set up yet, but we have discussed it.
Vicky Gallegos asked, what about the child welfare? What about the building for drug rehab? Too many going up getting free housing, and the single working parents don't get any help. It's not fair.
Well, I suppose it's probably not fair, but that's not something that we control. The drug housing and the things going on there, it's not money that we're spending from here. A lot of that money is coming from Medicaid, and there are investigations going on right now in the Medicaid to try to find out if there's fraud. If there is, I assume that they will prosecute that. As far as what's going on in the buildings and the things that are going up in Portsmouth, they are private organizations. If they're building buildings and putting up facilities, that's not something that we control in any way.
Looks like the rest of them are just comments.
Okay, well, if that's the end, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for those people that came and asked questions today. And we're at the end of our meeting, and if Mr. Malt, you're ready to go, I need a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
I will vacate the chair and second that.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye. Have a good weekend.